I'm a psychologist, clinical psychologist and psychotherapist and trainer in NLP. And I'm author program for perpetrators of domestic violence in Wrocław, and I would like to present my work with psychotherapists who work with victims and perpetrators. And their experience is symptoms of vicarious traumatization, but we use this diagnosis in clinical psychology and psychology of health, but it is one of kind of burnout, and it is a connection in inner experience. And symptoms of vicarious traumatization is relate to people who work with victims and perpetrators in general, as a general group. But in NLPt, we diagnose in other way, and we rather try to understand how these people experience this problem, and how they talked about this problem. And a group of people who be in this program. It is psychotherapists who work with perpetrators in prison. It was one of the part of group. And second part of group was people who work with victims and perpetrators outside. Of course, this we often remember experiment Professor Zimbardo with students and in Stanford University. When students who played the role of prisoners and guardians. Do you remember this experiment? Because this experiment showed that mechanism of aggression, of violence, is sometimes in this place and in this role which people play. And of course, this part of group which I work, therapist from prison, more experience these symptoms, but people outside they describe their experience as less in tension. And we know that perpetrators of domestic violence and other violence are a very difficult group of clients because they deny present destructive behavior and resistance. And of course, atmosphere in this place where this therapist work with this client is most influence on this problem which they recognize in their inner world. And first, why they describe and talk about this problem. Use the most words and phrases which belong to predicts of kinesthetic auditory digital. Described in a picture association with the word as dark, gray, stable, and separate from other areas of their life. Use modal operators of possibility, I cannot, I must. It is example one of the telling. When I'm at work, I seem too hard to do. I try to mobilize for action, but I feel that it makes no sense. When I meet with my client, I feel that he dominates and will reveal that I know nothing. I hear the inner voice which says, you are stupid, you have no skills, and you are worse. Mostly remember their failures. And it is this diagnosis, of course it is one of part of this diagnosis, pass our work. At first step, of course, was a report and establishing the goal in positive terms. We work around these questions. What do you want to achieve during our training? Where are you now? Where do you want to be? What do you want? State in the positive what you want to achieve, what are you going toward. It is, of course, example these questions. And next, and first our exercise was visualization. Visualization which created a map, a valuable place, because I mentioned that at first they saw this picture as a dark, stable, and in black and white only, and this visualization helped to change this situation. Get into comfortable position, see in front of you as a screen, and throw on the screen your experience of work. It is, of course, a dissociation process, and work with some modalities. And next, what kind of value places for you do you see around the picture? Because this step widen this experience, and because I mentioned that they noticed they work separate other place in their life. And next, this picture was moved and put on the floor as a map. Their important place in their life, and it was walked around their valuable and important place, and association with resources and force and value connected with this place. And last place was on this map was work, and they collected many resources from other place, put this on this place which symbolizes their work. results after this experience was wider perspectives and move this activity and enter connection with resources, and this place they notice not only one point, but they notice that connection with other area fields of their life, and its flow between resources and value. And it was next exercises with predicates. Because I mentioned that they usually used very characteristics words belong to kinesthetic and auditory digital, and I prepared for each person specific words which widen their inner exploration. And using these new words prepared by me, everybody talked about their work using this word. It is experience when they could observe, they discovered and explored new context in work and contact with their clients. It is example for preparing for one of this member of this group, and each received proper fit for themselves. And next experience. It is a very interesting experience because and exercises based on a theory created by Christina Hall, structure of time, because this timeline, lifeline in the psychology, we used lifeline, and this experience helped to connect past, present, and future. And structure of time created by Christina Hall show three kinds of structure in our mind. It is in time, through time, and between time. And structure in time is then we are active, but we don't notice past and future. When I would be in time, I didn't notice that my lecture started in 5 minutes. And this lecture should finish in 10 minutes. I will. I am only in this active, and between the time, it is a structure when people only prepare to action. Prepare but never start. They never know that they achieve and finish and accomplishment next experience. But through the time, connect this our activity in past, in present, and in future. And of course, it is a metaphorical time, but we must observe by behavior. And Christina Hall proposed setting direction for integrating and implementing our learnings. It is very interesting exercises, and because this exercise helps to connect this three structure of time. And we started in present day, in this experience. And during this this place, symbol of this present, people answer on the few questions. What caused your first interest of people and being in process learning to work with them? What motivated you to being the process of learning about people and how work with people? What are some of your strengths, especially things they learned during your training of learning of work with people, and how you applied what you had learned into action? This process in present and look for answer in inner world was in two steps. First step was non-verbal, and after questions people only looked for this answer, but not verbalization. And next step was in verbal. And when they received answer on these questions, they went on the past. When they see the moment in your life when the start interest of people and being in the process learning to work. And next, they pass through stages, their learning and achievement to present day, and of course association with their resources and achievement. And when they was in present day, they they way to the goal via stages. It is the same process when they start in past and by present to future. And of course, last step in this experience was future pacing and implementation to their life outside, not only work, not only during our training, but on their life. And next, so time. exercise. And these questions are very interesting, and Christina is master in this using questions. And last exercise was my criteria, because their people said that they during work with client they heard inner voice, critical inner voice, and during this psychodrama they telling about a difficult situation, chose this situation from their experience in work, and telling in small groups, and questions which create these people in these small groups lead to discover what the person needs to hear from inner voice in this situation. And next step was person association again with this situation, sitting in front, but back set people, and using the phrases and sentences say to her ears. And a person who explore their experience could enhance, reduce, and change this voice. Psychodrama lightest till person accepted and heard voice voice as yourself. It was last our step in work, but results. It was a small group of people, and I couldn't compile as in statistics and other field, but during the following 6 months, these people didn't experience symptoms of burnout. They felt inner balance, power, optimistic mood, good distance in contact with clients, which gave them a new resolving willingness to develop their professional skills. They kept well now also. Thank you for